how do you go about coaching 40 and 50-point wins with your team, either the day after or even during the game at that point, just to make sure that everything is running the way you want to run it, no matter what the scoreboard says?
Yeah, that's what I've been pretty adamant with our team with, is I really don't care about the scoreboard. I care about how we're doing things and making sure we're doing things the right way. And sometimes that's hard for them to understand. You're up 30, but it doesn't matter. So that's where, even the other day in the third quarter, we weren't playing well, so I'm going to call a timeout. They're going to know that.
We're going to have a chat about it.
Yeah, we're going to have a discussion about it, and so they understand the level and consistency that it takes, possession by possession, no matter what game we're in.
You've done this a while though, and it's human nature. I don't even want to use the 18 to 22-year-old thing. It's human nature for 40-year-olds to take a breath when they're that far ahead. How do you go about? How have you tried to play to that? In a sense of getting them to understand this has got to run the way I want it to run.
I think by being consistent with it. I'm like that every single day about in practice. Every possession, I hold them to a high expectations and standard, and I think the same thing of being consistent within the game. And we talk about it. I told them at halftime, I don't care what the scoreboard says. We care about the process. We care about, are we getting better? And it's really a game within the game to be able to challenge yourself and mentally focus of trying to just execute that possession and then go on to the next one. But I understand it. I tell them that I understand it, but we're trying to fight human nature and we're trying to be elite. And average people default to human nature. We're elite mindset people. Are locked into the possession by possession.
Are you, as a coach, I know that I don't know how to ask this, but are you looking forward to your team facing some serious adversity and seeing how you guys react to that?
Yeah, obviously, I told them, and I actually had a meeting with one of my players today, and it's we want to enjoy the process. Don't get me wrong, I want them to enjoy, winning a game, because winning at any level is hard to do. But I also want them to understand where we're trying to get to in the journey and what looms ahead. In 2 weeks, we're playing at Indiana.
Sure.
We're playing at Pitt. We're playing, so on and so forth. So every game, it's going to get tougher and tougher. And I think that, I think our scrimmage comes into play where we face a top 10 team, where we saw what, a top 10 team looks like. But then you kind of get in these past few games where, you can kind of get away with some things. So I am ready, but I also got to take my own advice and enjoy the process and enjoy the journey and enjoy the day-to-day.
And you said scoreboard doesn't matter too much, but at the same time, there's more points being put up than people have been used to seeing around here. What can you take away from that, if anything, just a higher offensive output?
I'm really happy with that. I've been actually very, very pleased with our offensive output. And I think we can even do better. I thought we shot the ball really well, obviously, the first half of last game, but then we didn't shoot as well the second half. And the first game, I thought we could have shot it a little bit better too. So I think that we're still finding ways to score and produce that. And because again, with me, it's about our defense. And I truly believe when our defense is elite, then our offense will, kind of reap the rewards of that. So really happy to see the offense output when I don't think we're to where we can be.
Everybody's getting at least a little bit of playing time right now. Is that a luxury of the score? Are you searching for some roles yet for certain players?
I just think it's when you're beating a team by 30-some points or 30 or 20-some, I want to try to get some of our young guys some minutes and some game experience. The last thing I want is to be up 30-some and someone gets hurt or something that maybe we could have tried to avoid. So it's a combination of both. We need to get, I think we have kind of our main rotation down, but there's also, a role's always changing. I don't want anyone to ever think, oh, I'm never going to play, or I'm only going to. No, you kind of determine your role. So, I want them to continue to progress, and some of the freshmen, they're only going to progress with some game minutes, and with these games that we can do that, then why not get them in and get them some experience?
Speaking of rotations, I think 7 of your players are averaging 20 or more minutes. Do you kind of envision that being your main 7-player rotation that you like, or how do you kind of envision that looking for the rest of the season?
I think who you see playing a lot now is who's going to obviously play the rest of the year a lot. I also think it's a little bit different right now because some of these teams, we're playing more 4-guard lineups where we get in the Big Ten, and we're not going to be able to play that as much. So our bigs, I'm trying to really get our true 5 players some solid, minutes and some experience. But sometimes it's hard against some of these teams where they really don't even play a true center. So just defensively and matchup-wise, that's kind of determining some of it in terms of our 5 players.
McNeese, what are some keys against them?
Really for us, it's taking care of the basketball. They're gonna press us back to a zone, so we haven't seen. That's at least what I think they'll do, and we got to be able to handle that pressure, and then get back and not fall in love with the 3 against these guys, because they're going to give you some open shots. And where I'm fine with taking some 3s, we still got to always maintain our 10 paint touches a quarter goal of trying to really be aggressive and put some pressure on their zone.
So, just out of curiosity, don't fall in love with the 3, but if your team starts falling in love with it and makes them, do you try to pump the brakes on that?
No, I just want to know how are those 3s coming. And if those 3s are coming from inside outs and paint touches or transition, then those are good 3s for us. I just don't really like when we, make one pass and then take a 3. Now, sometimes those are going to go in, and obviously I'm fine. Never going to say, take that back, but I just know where we shoot higher percentage from 3s, and that usually comes, again, transition and or getting paint touches inside out 3s, where right now we're shooting at a high percentage.
When those paint touches, does that come with Kendall being more vocal and just basically, there's a part of a post cutter that gets the basketball when they want it. You know what I mean? Is being more vocal and being more communicative a big deal for that in a sense?
I think so in a way, but I think she also, our players really trust her, and when she's posting up, they're going to get it to her. So when we say paint touches, it obviously means from a pass into the post, which, Kendall didn't get as many shots last time as she had before. It also means, our guards driving and getting a paint touch. So we need both. We need to establish our inside game always, and then from, they're back to the basket. And then we need our guards to really penetrate, put pressure on the defense by driving it and getting paint touches.
I think 6 of the 8 quarters you've held teams to single-digit points. I know the competition will obviously change, but are you pleased with where you're at defensively? What are you kind of seeing from your group there?
I am. I think we're probably maybe a little bit further ahead than what I thought we'd even be. We're picking some things up, and then sometimes I don't think we are. We go on these stretches where we still need to handle middle ball screens better, and we're going to continue to work on that. We still, just the consistency of it, again, of that mindset of playing at every possession. I think we get up, we get a little bit comfortable, and then maybe we get a little lackadaisical, and we can't have that mindset. But to be able to hold anyone, that many quarters to under single digits, I don't care who you're playing. I think that, I give our kids a lot of credit to buying into what we've been preaching, but obviously I'm never going to be completely satisfied, and we're going to have to continue to get better as the competition increases.
How is somebody like Adelia adapted to 2 years ago being the Minnesota Player of the Year in high school and so concerned with what she's getting from a numbers standpoint, to where it almost seems like you don't want to concern with box score at all, because I won't determine whether or not you think or she thinks she had a good night?
Yeah. No, we don't, for her, for anyone, we don't really get caught up in, okay, points. Points is one major factor, right? We need points in order to win basketball games, but there's so many things I go into, especially with Dell, her defense. I keep challenging her. I think she can be on the all-defensive team. She has to she's fully capable of it. It's just getting her mindset to really lock in to, hey, you're not getting by me. I'm going to lock you up, to have that mindset. And then getting her to crash the boards. Her offensive rebounding, she's an elite offensive rebounder, but she has to keep the mindset of doing it every single time and crashing every single time. So there's so many things with all of our players. And my thing is, how can you impact the game? And some nights that may be by doing something besides scoring.
All good?
Thanks, Shauna.